If you're a smoker, you're not going to have health insurance. If you have diabetes, if you have anything wrong with you, if you twisted your ankle in high school and you have a bum knee, if you've ever had surgery, if you have anything wrong with you, prices will be too high for you to afford.
This is for educational and entertainment purposes only.
Hello, and welcome to the Think Tank. We'll use critical thinking, deductive reasoning, and just a pinch of common sense to draw unbiased logical conclusions. Today we're here to talk about the fact that Congress was sent home by the leader, the moron, Mike Johnson, right before they were supposed to vote on this ACA subsidies. And we're about to give you a different outlook than maybe some of the other pundits out there are giving you. So I suggest you stay tuned. If you want to stay ahead of what the other podcasters doing, so we sometimes come up with here using across the aisle critical thinking perspective to do so, hit that subscribe button. Join us. Help us grow in the algorithm. Get the shows. Get the news first here. I'm going to introduce my co-host, the Honorable Dion Powell, and we're going to dig in. Dion?
Hi, family. Smell that fresh sea breeze, as it were, from wherever you are in the world. But if you're in New York, you're in a doom and gloom situation. I'm District Leader Dion Powell of the Bronx Conservative Party, community consultant and strategic solutionist for all intents and purposes. I'm on the America's First side of Maha, being slowly pushed to the America Only side of MAGA. So that's all I want to say about that.
You don't seem happy about me calling Mike a moron.
No, because it's putting your feelings in a situation and ruining your.
It's not putting my feelings in a situation. No, I'm just analyzing, and he's not a moron. He's not a moron about everything. But when it comes to following Trump policies, he's a moron. A moron is identified as someone with a certain level of IQ. IQ is identified by your rating on an IQ test. So I believe moron is like 50 to 70 on the IQ test. When it comes to Trump and some of the policies he's following that is so damaging to himself that he has to be a moron to follow him, that is a proper title. And I will use the ACA subsidies as an example. So in red counties, in areas that are so Trump powerful, the ACA is the health choice. That's what they go for, the ACA. They don't want to call it Obamacare, but they'll take them ACA entitlements. Areas like Florida, it's one state where 20% of the ACA subsidy recipients live there, or Texas, the second highest. We're talking about ruby red states. We're talking about Kryptonian red sun red. like these are the areas that people really rely on the ACA subsidies in MAGA country. And what's happening? Moron Mike, even though their people have been hurt so much that during the shutdown, nobody said nothing. Oh, ACA, nah, we're not doing it. Government opens back up. Yeah, we won. We didn't do it. Now that these subsidies are about to kick and people are seeing the response from the communities that are being hurt, which are MAGA communities, what happened? They're like, nah, we got to do something. They're crossing the aisle and signing with Democrats because they have to, because they are the ones affected the most. ACA helps MAGA more than Democrats. So when you have a situation where your own constituents are the ones that are being hurt and affected the most, so much that your own congressmen are crossing the aisle assigned with Democrats, and they had to do what's called the discharge petition. Would you like to identify what a discharge petition is, Dion?
I believe it's a committee situation in which they would vote on an issue or bill to force it for a floor vote?
Okay. It's more along the lines of you have committees on the side of the main floor. The committee makes a vote. And if they vote for something and it passes the committee, they can bring it to the main floor so the entire house can vote. This is how committee works. Now, the person that determines if it comes to the main floor is almost like the president of the house, call him the house speaker, gets to decide if the bill comes to the floor or not. Now, the house speaker can be overridden, almost like, so basically the house speaker could veto the committee bill. He could say, nah, I ain't even coming through here. And that goes back to the committee like it would go back to Congress. Same exact parallel. Law works the same way. Now you have to override the veto of the bill. When the House of Representatives overrides the veto, they need 3/5 or something like that of the committee to do so, or of the House in order to override the House Speaker. It's like overriding it's literally overriding a veto. And when it's done, it's called a discharge petition. They're overriding the House Speaker's veto of a bill going on the main floor so that the entire House of Representatives can vote for it. So a discharge petition is overriding a veto of the House of the Speaker of the House. That's what a discharge petition is. Now, I'm not a legal expert. That's just my way of looking at it so that it's plain and simple so that everybody can understand it. So the discharge petition, for the third discharge petition, this one about the ACA was signed. Discharge petitions happen all the time. I think there was one in the last 50 years before the Trump administration. We're now at 3 in 1 year. Because, oh, wait, they never happen. There's just not a thing where you override the House Speaker. The third most powerful person in the country. Third in line for the presidency is the president, the vice president, the House Speaker. Third in line for the presidency. You don't just override the House Speaker. Except for with moron Mike Johnson, he's been overridden. Discharge petitions have been signed 3 times. Hence the term moron. I was calling him that before that because I saw this coming because we're here at the think tank. We're ahead of the game. I don't believe any other channels explained how discharge petitions work. That's why you want to come to the think tank and get your information and learn so that you can be ahead of the game. I'm sure that some of the other pundits will try and explain this later on because it's important for you to have this information so that you understand what the fight is about. So they signed the discharge petition, and 6 or 7 senators or something like that. House reps came across. At least 4 or 5 came across the aisle. Coming across the aisle, one side of the aisle Democrats, the other side is Republicans, and the divide in the middle they call it the aisle. So they came across the aisle to vote. They voted with Democrats to override the House Speaker's veto in order to have a vote on the House floor to try and save the ACA subsidies. The subsidies, in case you don't know, we've covered this before, are tax breaks that make the Affordable Care Act more affordable because since all these Republicans have jumped on since COVID, the price has skyrocketed to try and keep it going. So now the subsidies are necessary in order to maintain its affordability. So now that there was enough to have a discharge petition, and discharge petition was signed, instead of bringing to the House floor to vote a week before Christmas, moron Mike Johnson says, everybody go home, we're on vacation. Because he doesn't want to vote on this, because he's trying to support Trump, and not signing a bill that's going to help the majority of the people being his constituents. What a moron. What an idiot. He won't bring it to the House floor while other people are looking at like, Trump is messing us up, bro. We gotta make a decision against Trump to save our own hides. The moron isn't picking up on what's being put down. He is still floating all the stuff Trump's saying, and his own constituents are going to be the ones that are hurt the most. What a moron. But that's my personal opinion. Not my feelings, just watching and saying, are you slow? And you can't say stuff like that because calling somebody slow today in today's society is, but he's a moron. And I don't apologize. It's unapologetic. The things he's doing to hurt people, regardless of who they are. I'm not here like, oh yeah, don't sign the bill because Republicans are going to get hurt anyway. It's MAGA that's going to get hurt the most. I'm here defending MAGA. Hey everybody, this is your boy Leo. You know me. I've been doing commercials for 15 years, television commercials, radio ads, billboards. Now I'm trying to step it into the big leagues. I want to be an independent filmmaker. I've got the degrees, I've got the experience, and I need your help to make my first independent film, Garot. So Garot is Boys in the Hood meets Clue. So these dudes from Brooklyn is trying to buy their drugs to supply the hood. So they go to the mafia stronghold and they purchase their drugs, but one of them turns up dead. And now there's a race to find out who did it. The Godfather's going to send in his hit squad, Squadra Assassina, to take them out. They don't figure out who did it because somebody died on his turf and he's not happy and he can't have stuff like that happening in his business. So please, if you want to show support, my Kickstarter campaign is down in the description box. Dion, what are your thoughts?
Well, when you call people names, you make it personal and not professional. So,
oh my God, I'm like Trump. My bad.
That's right. But he's the president of the United States. Unfortunately, here we are. Speaker Mike Johnson is in charge of the House of Representatives, and here we are. So I'm going to make it more when politics become personal. And this is why Obamacare really pushed me over the edge. This is starting to affect me personally, and maybe some of you. For example, I had a culture shock yesterday when I came back from Phoenix, and I went to the pharmacy to pick up my medication, 2 pharmacies actually. And they started saying, hey, sir, that'll be $1. I was like, oh, what the hell is this? So you see, this is going to be a big issue that's going to hurt this administration and other people on the right during this the midterm elections this fall. So it's going to be a very big problem that has to be addressed. You can't kick the can in the road because if there's going to be another government shutdown, then a lot of people are going to be hurt. But already the health insurance companies, which we should be against, are already figuring out ways to take advantage of the system because the ACA, unfortunately, was a good feeling idea, but it's not really benefiting the people the way it should, other than the big pharma and the big health insurance companies. And that's my thoughts about that. Because I'm an 80-20 Trumpster, which is a new movement in MAGA. I agree with the president 80% of the time in administration and 20% not so much. Hopefully this helps you because now we have some new people coming over. But we'll talk about that in another episode.
So you're not understanding that the policies are hurting, that MAGA Mike, this moron, is hurting you personally, and that these subsidies haven't even kicked in. And if all these red people in these red states didn't join the ACA, that the insurance companies would not be moving the way they're moving. The reason the prices have gone up is because there's so many MAGA people who have now joined. The people getting hurt are MAGA more than anyone. And here we are, I'm fighting to protect them and you're fighting and you're like, well, it's a political tool. Like you did with the Epstein files, like MAGA tends to do. We're looking and we're trying to protect the people. And yes, that's feelings. My feelings are involved. I don't want to see people lose their health insurance. I don't want to see people die because they can't afford health insurance. I have my feelings in it. I don't care if they're red, blue, red, yellow, green, purple, orange. I don't care about what political affiliation they happen to be with. I don't want to see people die because moron Mike Johnson won't have a vote on the House floor to protect these people's health insurance and save their lives. No, I don't want to see it. So I guess my feelings are involved, and you're right.
Ruining your whole journalistic objectivity, just like the other Trump deranged media out there, unfortunately.
Well, my journalistic objectivity falls into place with I can look and see good and bad. Oh, people getting killed based off of a policy, bad. That's where my integrity holds. How I feel about it, well, good and bad. Oh, I get upset about bad things and like good things. My integrity is in place because I use critical thinking to come up with my decisions. Now, how I feel about the decisions I hold separately until I've made my decision. This not only upholds integrity, but allows me to be a critical thinker, which I hold above even integrity. In order to have integrity, you have to use critical thinking and analysis. But with that being set aside, because it's actually really unimportant, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and it's going to be to help protect people. I'm here part of the resistance, fighting to help protect people when this administration doesn't seem to care and wants to tear people apart, let people die. They don't care as long as they're getting richer and them and people around them are getting richer. So, I mean, I guess that they're holding to their critical thinking as well. They're like, it doesn't affect me, so what if people die? And, you know, the moron Mike Johnson doesn't seem to realize that he's about to lose his gavel. What that means to you, those of you who don't know, is he's about to lose his position as House Speaker, in charge of the House's third highest position in the land, because right now, even the Republicans in the House of Representatives, which he is the chair of, the House Speaker, are going against him. He does not stand a chance of holding the gavel. He's going to lose it because he's following Trump into a ravine. And your thoughts on that, Dion? Do you think that what do you think he should do with the ACA?
It has to be addressed. And unfortunately, after all these years, the GOP hasn't really come up with much of a solution or replacement. That's the problem. You can't just cancel something without another alternative. And that's the problem.
But didn't the moron say like a month and a half ago, again, as he's been saying over and over and over, and Trump as well for over a decade, that they have a plan? I mean, Trump has been saying this since his first administration. What are you talking about? Again, don't they have a plan?
We reviewed this on a previous episode when I presented you what the president said. He wants to give health insurance directly to the individuals to decide what to use, as opposed to putting it out there so health insurance companies can take full advantage of it. But
okay, so I want to. You're right. You did say that. And so Mike Johnson might not be as much of a moron as I thought, because he's not repeating that stupidity. So credit to moron Mike Johnson. He's not that stupid. He's like, I ain't saying that. No, I ain't with that shit. What? Yo, you wildin', bro, chill. Give me you wildin', bro. I'm sorry, yo, I'm sorry to the audience, but yo, I mean, that plan is so stupid. Like, that is, like, yo, your insurance premiums are about to go up to $2,000. He's gonna give you $2,000 for the year. What are you gonna do with that? Have insurance for half a month? Come on, man, stop. You sound crazy. Like, all right, Trump, thank you for that. That was, no, seriously, what are we gonna do? And are you in support of your president's plan to just give cash to people because they'll be able to find something that they can afford?
Yes, because just like hashtag school choice, giving the people more empowerment of this, even though it's more about individual responsibility, is a good thing.
Even though the amount that you're going to give them is only going to make it so that they can't afford health insurance, and and only doing this to keep in
place. No matter how much scare tactics you do for homeschooling, the Black community is still going to keep progressing and doing it. Pretty soon being #1 population in America. But I digress. The point is this: We're against big pharma and also these conglomerates and oligopolies, like you like to say. So this is a good idea. Whereas before, there's no real alternative. Now, it may be a bad idea, but it's an idea that should be explored,
All
in my
right.
opinion.
I understand. So economics really is not your strong suit. You wasn't
Here
just
we
joking
go,
when you said it.
everybody.
Okay, boom. Because I just said this. I just did some math. I don't know if you paid attention. So I'm gonna do the math for you again because this is about a mathematical thing. So I'm going to do this mathematically because this is about math, pure and simple, very easy to understand math. As it stands right now, once the subsidies are out, the ACA, which makes things cheaper, is going to be between $600 and $2,000 per month for every individual. While this is happening, Donald Trump is saying give people $2,000 a month and let them find the $2,000 a year and let them buy their own health insurance. If even with the ACA subsidies, health insurance costs more than that in a month, then his plan to give you cash and take away the ACA along with collective bargaining that ACA represents because everybody's buying so that we can bargain to get the prices down. If everybody's doing it individually, the collective bargaining goes away, prices go up way higher than that 600 to 2,000 because the collective bargaining power is down. Now we're like, we're going to charge you, you got a pre-existing condition of diabetes, so we're going to make it $5,000 a month. You have high blood pressure, we're going to make it $8,000 a month because the ACA makes it illegal for them to do that. Now you take away the ACA, you give people cash, you take away collective bargaining, you take away the ability to stop companies, the big pharma, for gouging for pre-existing conditions, which are things like I mentioned, or you're a smoker, $20,000 a month, which is legitimately what they can do. You're going to go with Trump. You're talking about Trump's plan is okay at $2,000 a month. That is such bad economics. I don't have the word. It's staggering. Like, that is just like really, really bad math. Like, if you're a smoker, you're not going to have health insurance. If you have diabetes, if you have anything wrong with you, if you twisted your ankle in high school and you have a bum knee, if you've ever had surgery, if you have anything wrong with you, prices will be too high for you to afford, even if he gave you $10,000 a year. He's taking away the collective bargaining that makes it so that that the big pharma can't charge you for pre-existing conditions. There is nothing at all good about this plan. But, all right, it's time for you to give your opinion on what I just said.
Again, if we take the personal feelings out of it, as an 80-20 Trumpster, agreeing with him 80% of the time and 20% not so much, this is something that has to be addressed. Now, Mike Johnson, the speaker, wants to go on vacation and kick the can in the road. But again, this is going to hurt when it comes to the midterms. This is not addressed properly. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I'm glad that I was able to give information about ACA subsidies and the collective bargaining and explain that pre-existing health conditions are going to make your surcharges ridiculous. You're not going to be able to have health insurance. I think that's something that the mainstream media should cover. I think that other pundits, if y'all are listening, let's talk about this. We need people to understand how serious this is. Dion, any closing statements?
Yes, family. Don't forget that we are the media and now so are you. So you have a responsibility to share this content with your network and add your own comments and investigation. So let's keep this going, family, because we have to support our independent content creators because the mainstream media has failed us miserably.
Are failing us miserably.
No.
Yes. Yes. All right, this is Leon Dion signing out.